for sure. I'm going to talk like this for a few seconds just in case Twitch takes a second to catch up, and I'm just vamping now to say things to say them. And now I will start the show. Hey, everybody, this is Jeff, aka Grounded Geek, here with the podcast is real. We're so glad that you are here. It is Sunday, and we are live once again here on Twitch, officially Twitch affiliates. So we will be doing the show on Twitch for the foreseeable future, unless, people decide that they'd rather watch us somewhere else, and that's where our audience goes. We'll go there. We are, that's what we do. And in podcasts, we're everywhere. So it's hard to be just one place live, but this is it. This is where we are. We got a great guest, great show, lots of stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and get to it. Here comes Utah and Aaliyah. Welcome.
Hi.
Greetings, programs.
I am waiting.
That's for the end. And now I feel like I need to stop the show.
No, it's for both.
Okay.
That's the end, and we're done. Hey, have a good night, guys.
That was the easiest show we've ever done. Probably our audience is like, wow, that was great.
Well, now
5 stars.
Well, now I feel like the beginning people, like if they don't stay all the way through, they have missed the wave at the end. So I owe them a wave at the beginning, or do I just say
no? We want them to stay. We want them to stay tuned for the. It's like that's the prize at the end is the wave from Aaliyah.
But how did they know? But we don't tell them that there's a prize at the end.
No, well now they know.
Oh, now they know. We have ruined it all.
Yeah,
Jeff, I think we need to restart the show.
All right, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome. It's the podcast is real, and we are here. It's Sunday night, and we're so glad that you're here. We're live on Twitch, and welcome. Tonight we got a great show. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Gaming Classic. I was at Con on the Cob this weekend. We can talk about that. Utah's probably got some cool toy that we'll all be jealous of that he'll show us, and Aaliyah will rant about groceries or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be a great show. So here's Utah and Aaliyah, and we're back. How are you?
Hi.
Greetings, programs.
We're back.
Gosh, I have this sense of deja vu. It's so weird.
It feels weird, right?
Seems like we've done this or something.
Yep. So, welcome back. It's good to see you guys. We are going to be talking about the Cleveland Gaming Classic, which is a great convention that we had the privilege of being at.
Yeah.
And we've got the one of the guys who kind of started it and runs it to tell us all about it. He'll be here in a little bit. But in the meantime, I did get a chance to go to Con on the Cob yesterday, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Con on the Cob, which is run by our good friend
in Richfield, right?
Of the show, Andy Hop. Yep, it's right up the street from my house. So I was like, I guess I should pop in,
easy
right?
For you. Yeah.
Everybody else stays in the hotel, and I'm just like, I'm just.
And you're a commuter.
Yeah, I could just.
It's called conveniency.
I could ride my bike there if I had a bike and wanted to ride, but I don't. So neither of those things are things that are true.
None of that.
All right. But
theory,
anyway, our good friend Andy Hop, who is the king of Oddmall, basically. We talked to him on our Oddmall special. You can watch that on YouTube. It's out there. It was a fun show. We talked to him about all of the cool things. He's just what a cool guy Andy Hop is. So
he is. He's just a cool guy.
He's a sweet guy. He's just the nicest person and runs the coolest, most diverse and inclusive and just like everything in the world, all the weird, and that's in a good way weird. You know what I mean? Like we are like embracing the fact that we are weird and we are weird together and we all have a good time at the con. And it's just it's amazing.
Danny DeVito wishes he was as cool as Andy Hop.
Exactly. But so I went out there. I got to see Mark Cooper, who was a guest last season.
Nice.
Nerdcore rapper.
Yes.
So I picked up one of these from
Jeff
him.
Corner now.
This was what he called Keys to the Kingdom. It's a USB.
It's just a USB drive.
And it's loaded with all of his CDs and stuff. Yeah, like his entire library is on this. So I got to I purchased one of those.
That's sweet.
That was pretty sweet.
Nice.
He was there with his DJ. And I have hold on.
Yesterday?
Yesterday I went there.
Dang.
Oh, Twitch still says we're jackboxing. Yeah, I screwed that up. We're not jackboxing. I should fix that, but I can't now that we're on. All right. His DJ Fluff 313 was there as well.
Fluff.
This is a little flyer that I got from there. He's the one with the TV on his head, but he did not have it on his head when I met him.
So how did you recognize him?
Well, Mark introduced me to him. And he was sitting right next to him.
He just knew.
How did you know it was him without the TV on his head?
So I'm going to actually do a little check out the cool. I already did with the USB, but I got another one. A little Grounded Geeks toy corner if you want. So DJ Fluff has an album, couple of albums, but one of them is called Neon Spaghetti, and his marketing for this is awesome. So this I'm holding up right now is a package of ramen that is customized with his.
Oh, look at that
Neon Spaghetti. It's a customized pack of ramen with a USB drive attached to it, and this is where the album is. It's on there, and so I could take this off and listen to the album, and then I have this cool pack of ramen for if the apocalypse occurs. So I can yank it off my shelf
and get hungry.
And it'll, even you could just basically leave it in there for survival for years to come.
Well, I mean, I'll put it on the shelf back here with other knickknacks that I show off because I think it's really a really cool idea. And music video, artwork, and behind the scenes stuff, including the album. So
that is amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
love that.
So, really, really good marketing from both those guys. But they and they both want to come back. Well, Mark wants to come back. DJ Fluff 313 wants to come on the show too. So we can get them both and they can perform because he's like Mark's DJ too. Like he does the music and all that.
Nice.
So yeah. That's fun. And then there's a third member of their little troupe called Soundproof Music Group known as Blizzard. Was not there. So I did not have a chance to meet them. But
Soundproof
Blizzard
Music
is a producer, 2-time Best Producer nominee, half weeb, half amazing. Call me Blizzard. That's their app. So check them out on Twitter. Yeah. And then DJ Fluff 313 and then Mark Cooper is at It's Mark Cooper. So you guys should check them out. And I'll put the notes in the show notes so you guys can follow up. But good music. And they performed. I did not get to see them. We were kind of in and out. We just kind of like made an appearance. Libby did the cosplay contest, which was amazing. There's some really great costumes there. Really, really fun. And just really unique stuff. She did not this time, but she did. She was Armin from Attack on Titan. And there was some stiff competition. There's pretty good costumes there. So it was really fun. And she got to meet some of them. But she also had a massive migraine that she gets often. So we couldn't stay as long as we would like.
Had to cut it short. Yeah.
Which means I also missed Toby Danger, which is a nerd rock group that performed right after. But they had to start setting up when we were trying to decide if we were staying. So it was going to be a little while, and so we missed them. But you should check them out. Toby Danger, find them on Spotify, follow them.
Okay.
They are hilarious. They are a nerd like rock group, kind of rock, pop, indie punk, kind of. I don't know what you want to call them. It's a mix. They're very good.
Theme song covers?
No, at least I haven't heard. They might. I haven't. Like I said, I didn't see them in concert, but I listened to their music on Spotify. So what they do in concert, I have no idea. But yeah, they're pretty funny. Very, funny songs. And my favorite one that I can relate to is "Too Fat for Rock and Roll," and it's funny though. It's clever. It's not, it sounds like it would be, but it's like they're just kind of poking fun at themselves and having a good time. And so they're gonna come on the show too. I got to talk to them. They were at Oddmall.
Nice.
But we missed them there too. But yeah. So we got lots of guests they're lining up to come be on the show. It's exciting. And I was just telling you guys right beforehand, there's a comedian named Ryan Koo, who I am hoping will join us as well. He has said he would. And I will hold him to it. No, I was kidding. You will follow up. No. He's hilarious. So I hope that he does come on the show. But yeah, stuff's going. That was my weekend. what did you do? Actually, you had a fun weekend too. You had a cool event that you went to, Aaliyah. Tell us about that.
Oh, yes.
It was so good she
So
forgot.
I
Wait, I
don't
went to
even
an
know.
event.
I don't even know. And you are still drinking those balls.
I still yes. Okay, so I'm still drinking balls. From
Jeff does love those balls.
from the and I figured since it was from the Cleveland Gaming Classic and we're talking about it tonight, then I should be drinking it on
Gaming
the show.
balls.
At some point, yeah, Balls Guarana root beer, and it's BAWLS for those who can't see the can I'm holding up on the podcast. That's what we're talking about.
BALLS.
BAWLS. I've got the root beer, and it's pretty good. It's like an energy root beer, which is kind of a neat thing.
Yeah.
And now that I've said all that, maybe they'll pay us.
You should do the ching.
Oh, I don't think I have that one on our new board, so I got to get that. You're right.
Oh.
Oh man,
You're right. I got to get that on there.
Jeff's too busy handling balls root beer. Root beer balls.
Yeah, so I did have a really eventful weekend. Actually, I had a really eventful week. Last week at work, we had our company retreat, which was super amazing. And then Friday, my boss treated us to a day at the spa, which was very kind of her. So massage and a pedicure, and the only male at the job was just having a ball.
I thought you were saying you were the only
Like
male
Jeff?
at the job. And I'm like,
Like
what?
Jeff? Like Jeff?
No, like
He's having a ball like Jeff?
Was he having a balls or having a ball? Which one was he having?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, he was having a balls and he was having a ball.
So he had both balls. Okay.
Yeah, he had both. He had both balls.
Okay then.
Okay. So, yeah, and then Friday night I had a church event called Elevate for young adults, and then Saturday, which was super eventful, was that a picture?
So I had to be real. Have you guys heard of this app, Be Real? I'll tell you after. But that's what it was like. I had to do it. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Saturday was this really amazing, really amazing event called the Black Joy Festival, and it was amazing. I mean, there was break dancers and poets, and shout out to Khalil and Mixed Rose, if you guys are watching, and just the whole gang at the Sparrow's Fortune for coming and performing and just doing what you guys do, because they're just amazing. And actors, and there was actually a few individuals that had worked on Judas and the Black Messiah and you and another lady who actually worked with Spike Lee, and I just like did not I did not get to talk with them, to the lady that worked with Spike Lee, but I really wanted to. And then there was a live DJ and just a bunch of really amazing things.
So much better than
Did he have a TV on his head?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a dead DJ would just not be fun.
It's just not as entertaining. I'm telling you.
Oh, did I say he was alive?
Yeah, the DJ.
You said he was a live DJ, and I'm
like,
yeah, you said he was a live DJ, and Jeff and I both agree, better than dead.
Yeah. Better than dead. Yeah.
Zombie DJs are the worst.
I mean, how many zombies do DJ?
Oh, it's so slow. They're always so slow. They don't take requests.
No.
Oh, it's just.
No, they don't take requests.
Don't even get me started on the brain eating, but yeah. The request
smell,
is,
and they smell,
draw the line
they
at
smell
requests.
so bad. Oh, they smell so bad. Oh, it's awful. Yeah, they keep on playing Jonathan Colton's song about zombies, and it's just not funny.
I love that song though. So Aaliyah, yeah, I think your mic is your mic the AirPods, because I can hear your cable like doing stuff again.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. And probably
okay. Sounds like your
I
mic
don't know why it keeps switching to the. So it goes from,
because your laptop thinks it knows.
Yeah,
better.
change it to.
So change it from default to whatever mic.
No, what do we have? We don't have ATR.
Samsung.
No.
You have the Samsung. Q2U.
Yeah.
Q2U. And
Oh, now I don't hear you at all.
now we
Wait.
can't hear you. Is it on? Is your mic on?
She's checking. It wasn't on.
It was not on.
There we go. Oh my gosh, you sound so much better. We got it. That's perfect.
I'm so proficient, guys.
That's all right. It happens. Well, I mean, we do this once a week. It's not like you're using the mic every day. I have mine.
Right.
This is my setup for work too. So I'm in all my Zoom meetings with this. I'm always on. I'm always on this setup. But no, that sounds like
I think the best,
really good. Really good.
You sound much better, Leah. The best part of all that was that when I asked, "Is it on?" You had this big smile, like, "I don't know. I don't think so, though."
Because I knew it wasn't on, and that's the crazy part.
No, you knew. Oh,
I knew it wasn't on, but in my head, I thought it was on the entire time.
That's funny.
That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
So proficient.
yeah, and that was not a good poker face over there.
No, I don't ever call me for poker. I just smile probably the entire time. Also, Utah, when did you get glasses? Has this been a
Always had
thing?
glasses. Those are a different pair.
I've always worn glasses since I've known you.
Not those glasses.
Not those glasses.
Is that a new pair?
Oh no,
of
these are
glasses?
new. I got yeah,
it's
it's a new pair of glasses. I picked these up this weekend. So new prescription. As you get older, you have to get a new pair of glasses every year.
For some
So I
reason
figured-
just did not realize that you wore glasses.
So I'm trying something new. I'm wearing like round lenses. So
Yes.
which is great because now my Halloween costume, I can pick from a virtual bevy of Halloween costumes ranging from Harry Potter to Arthur to Millhouse. So pretty much all set.
Arthur.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
vote
you should be Arthur.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
So so we'll see what happens. Though I tell you what, these are progressive lenses, and I'm thinking that they may have to be adjusted because I'm finding myself having to look down my nose a little bit. So.
Oh, I thought you were
don't you
being
just put
worry.
them down here? Isn't that the way you resolve it? That issue, you just put them down.
No, this just makes it worse. That's not how bifocals work, Aaliyah.
I don't know. I don't.
Well, you wouldn't know.
That's how I do. That's how I do bifocals. So I'm looking through one, and then when I need to see normal, I go like this, and tilt my head. So yeah, that's my
those
bifocal.
are reading glasses, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm wearing contacts, but I still need.
Yes.
So mine's weird.
What's
so
the purpose of contacts?
So if I don't have my contacts in, I can't see anything far away.
Contacts are like wearing glasses, except on your eye.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know what.
If I'm still wearing, well, this is the thing when you become seasoned, Aaliyah, and this is how the eye doctor put it to me. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, here we go.
I have to wear glasses to see far away, but I wear contacts most of the time. So I'm wearing them right now. I can see far away, everything, far away, signs, road, everything, the TV. Like, this is why I have them. Normal, everyday vision. But, about 3 or 4 years ago, it started getting to the point where I couldn't see my phone very well anymore. And I would have to wear reading glasses to see those. And I told my eye doctor, I'm like, I think that these contacts that you gave me, this was recent after, I was back after the trial pair. I'm like, I think they're fine, but I need reading glasses to like see things close. And she says, that's because you're over 50 or over 40. I was over 40 because I only just now turned 50. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Yeah. So,
well,
apparently she's like, that's the way it's going to be now. So yeah, I need reading glasses to see like really close. I mean, I can sort of see this from here, but it's just easier with the glasses. You know what I mean?
So,
and since I do video production, if I'm looking at the little screen on a video camera, and then I need to see, I want to be able to see it clearly. You know what I mean? So I put those on so it's nice and magnified and all that stuff.
Is that what I have to look forward to when I?
Not everybody. Don't worry, Aaliyah. Not everybody has this issue.
Well, do you wear glasses at all?
Hi, whoever's watching.
Yeah, basic dude said.
Basic dude 20.
Lele.
Basic dude 20.
Oh, look at that. Thank you. He says our
That's
podcast is awesome.
is that
Or
Joseph?
she, I don't know, they, it could be
Basic Dude
anybody.
20 is now a friend of the show.
It did say dude. I guess I assumed dude, even though I've always argued that dude is gender neutral. You can say it to
Dude's
anybody.
gender neutral.
I mean,
You're the
shout out
best.
to
Shout
the
out to the WVU.
WVU. That's Joseph. Hi,
That's
Jojo.
awesome.
Thank you for the support.
Are
I
they
sent
from
the
WV also?
yes.
So am I. So if they
yes.
don't know, everyone but Utah is from WV here. So Utah is
I'm from Utah.
yeah.
I am Utah.
AKA Utah, AKA Utah.
Right. Okay.
That's
so
right.
this has been we've been all over the place tonight. We talked about glasses. We talked about we gave Aaliyah a lesson on what it's like to get old and still see things. But yeah. So it may or may not. You don't wear glasses now, though, do you, Aaliyah?
No, so I actually went to the eye doctor, and she told me that I had a slight stigmatism, but my eyes were perfect.
Okay. So
And
you don't need
Astigmatism. That
she
happens.
gave
That's
me
all right.
like a 0.25.
Well, that's
So
not
you
even,
don't-
yeah, that's not really.
Yeah, you don't really need
That's
anything
nothing.
then.
I know.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here at like 10. So
I
like
know.
0.25.
That's why I don't whenever.
That's like a mosquito. What was
Yeah,
that?
you
Was
never
that a
ha-
mosquito?
You probably won't have to worry about it. Well, I mean, everybody as they get older, eventually may need reading glasses. A lot of people need them, whether they had
Sure.
great vision or not. As you get older, obviously everything ages, including your eyeballs. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Except your eyeballs.
But you're starting out with like in a good place, so you probably
Yeah.
I was wearing glasses when I was in middle school, so that's
Yeah.
how long I've been doing this, and so it's not
I had
surprising
glasses
that
before
it's worse now.
I had glasses by 5th grade.
Wow.
I actually wore glasses when I was younger, but I feel
Yeah,
like my
yeah.
eyes got better.
Right ar-
Is that a thing?
I don't
'Cause,
know.
like,
Maybe you
I-
like
It can.
retrain them.
It could happen. It could happen.
Exercise the eyes.
I mean, that is a thing, right? I mean, I think that you do.
It's a muscle.
Yeah, that you do like get better, or you just get used to certain things. I don't know, but I was the thing where I got the glasses.
Placebo.
I thought I could see fine. I'm like, why am I here? My stepmom took me to see the eye doctor, and then they put the frames. They put like some sample frames on me after I'm sorry, it was my actual frames, and I looked around and I'm like, oh my gosh, what
You're
is
like-
this world? I could not.
I can see individual leaves on trees.
It was no, that's true. Like that was the difference. It was real. I was just
Yeah,
like, I thought everybody
that's what
saw
happened
that
to me.
way. I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just-
All of a sudden, he was seeing 4K.
yeah, it was nuts. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we didn't even know what 4K was back then.
We had no clue. No clue.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we didn't ask you about your weekend, Utah, but why don't you tell us and then take us right into what you've got to show us this week if you've got something.
Oh, sure. Well, okay. So weekend for me was pretty uneventful. Weekend for my daughter, though. Simi attended her first homecoming with her friend.
Oh.
Yeah, they both went, and it was fun. They had a great time. It was really cute to see her and her friend, talk about getting ready. They went dress shopping together and fun stuff. It was also funny to hear how her friend, Helen, who goes to public school, just complained about how homecoming, isn't much. And she last year went for an hour and then just went home because it was just awful.
Yeah.
And yet they were still excited to go this year. So
Oh.
they ended up.
It's kind of
they-
it's a rite of passage, I think, for some people.
It kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is. And I mean, they got to see a lot of friends. Helen introduced her to a bunch of her friends, and Simi got a taste of a public school event that she probably wouldn't have otherwise. And then after the dance, they came back here and had their own after party till 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I had to drive Helen home. So, the joys of being a parent. But I tell you what,
1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I had to drive my daughter's friend home, and I had to drive. I had to drive manually. I don't have a car that can drive itself. Unlike 40 years ago, Michael Knight, who
Oh
had
my
a car
gosh.
that drove itself.
It's Kit,
So this is the 40th anniversary of Knight
Knight
Rider.
Rider.
Yes, Kit, the Knight Industries
Uh,
2000. So the Hot Wheels did a special anniversary Hot Wheels of Kit, but you can't have Kit unless you can't open up the box. But
Oh,
you can't
Matt
have
is impressed with this one.
yeah, Matt.
so here it is in all of its glory.
Wow.
That's cool.
Mm.
Oh, and you
Um,
can't have Kit unless
Wow.
you
what?
have the scanner.
Does it make the noise? Because that's the best part.
It does not make the noise,
No,
unfortunately.
that's still
But
cool, man.
I
That is
mean,
awesome.
it's still pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
That's amazing.
So, and what's great too is that this is standard Hot Wheels scale, so you can put this on all your Hot Wheels tracks and everything.
Oh, nice.
Love that.
There's no Super Pursuit mode though. I checked.
I guess the next thing
And honest,
is you need the big semi truck that you can, and then you can like
right?
push it up
Yes. Now I need
inside.
the Night Industry Semi, so I can just
That would
push
be
it up
cool,
inside.
right?
And
And then
yeah,
and then
that's the
have it
next
like
step.
roll out the back and good stuff.
Wow. Okay, so
What
you
a
know
But
great
there it
show.
is.
the
40 years ago it debuted.
Pat,
Can you
no.
believe that?
What?
It debuted in late September, 40 years ago.
That's crazy.
I was not
Wow.
born. Yeah, that's correct.
If I was, yeah,
Back
if I
when-
wasn't feeling old
Back when David Hasselhoff was young.
when we were talking about the eyes and glasses issues, I
No,
certainly
but
feel
talking
old
about-
now.
Yeah. So,
Sorry,
But
but that's
no, yeah.
amazing.
I love it.
Oh, here, Matt's got a good point. If you could trigger the lights from your Apple Watch, that would be next level, right? Because then you're like,
Oh,
you'd be
there
like,
is no Bluetooth,
Kit,
but yes.
Kit, come
That
and
would
get
be-
me, or what? I'm around back, and then the lights go.
I bet you there's.
Michael.
Now I'm going to look for an app. There has to be an app. Somebody has had to make like a Knight Rider app where like Kit comes out of your Apple Watch just out of nowhere,
Somebody had to, right?
right? It's just out of nowhere. You're just sitting there. All of a sudden, goes, Michael, why do you have to be such an asshole? Oh, sorry, Michael. Watch your language.
I'm like, did Kit ever call him? I know it was very passive aggressive. I don't think it was aggressive.
That's true, right?
for
He said,
for an
Michael,
AI car. Yeah.
geez,
So-
Michael, your father should have named you Richard because you're a big Richard.
I thought you were talking about your stormtrooper behind you, but
Oh no, he's sleeping.
Not Matt saying
He's taking a
PG.
break. That's a great
Matt.
thing about these.
if Matt is
That's a great
telling
thing
you
about
it's
these
supposed to be
stormtroopers.
PG, then you know that you went too far. No, I'm kidding. He just knows that's what we're
Language.
shooting for here. But yeah, I mean, I think if you let that slip, we're not going to get Apple explicit tag yet. So I think we're all right.
Right. I don't think. Right. I think that's yeah. I'm keeping it cool.
So we're our guest today is I told you that we spent some time at the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Oh, why do I still have Utah in the whole screen there? We spent some time at the Cleveland Gaming Classic a few weeks back, and I say we, me and Aaliyah did. Utah, I don't know what he was doing that day, but
Well, we still counts.
it wasn't hanging out with us. But
Yeah,
no.
I don't know what
That
he
was
was
not
doing.
me.
And he didn't want to hang out with us, I guess.
Yeah,
Just weren't-
totally.
We weren't cool enough.
I was.
Yeah.
Hey, I was categorizing things as a soup, salad, or sandwich.
That's true.
He was stuck. That's what he was saying.
Yep. But we had a great time and had the opportunity now to talk a little bit more about it because our guest today is Tom Jenkins, who is the kind of the founder, the one who runs everything there at the Cleveland Gaming Classic. There he is. And welcome to the show, Tom.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
I can.
Yes.
Welcome,
All right,
Tom.
cool. Got it to work.
Awesome.
Yay, great.
And I'm already jealous of the pinball machine behind
Yay.
you.
Yeah, I'm
and,
Yeah.
trying, what is this, like CD?
Oh.
What is that?
Tell me,
Trying to find
Between the
something
pinball
other than
machine
to-
and the shelving.
Yeah, what's on the shelves? Are those Nintendo?
Yeah, those are like all NES carts.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is
So
that like
Incredible.
every game NES manufactured, or?
so I am 34 games shy of the complete North American collection. So I've kind of just
Wow.
given up at this point. I'm trying to finish it. So,
But is that the goal? Like, if you come across stuff, like eventually you'd like to have all of it?
not anymore because I feel like I can't afford it.
Gotcha.
Is that a fair statement? I've just kind of given up at this
That's
point
fair.
because the market's so crazy with these games right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
people are probably overpricing them left and right.
for sure, definitely.
Gosh,
Tom-
34 games? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's all that's left. So okay. Well, then what's the total? What's the actual number then?
I think I'm in like the 700s or 800s or something. I don't know. I mean,
That's
I'd
crazy.
be lying if I said it. Even probably, I bought a game probably 2 years ago. But like the problem is like the games that when I do buy them, they're like in the $300 to $400 range, right? So it's like, it's just not sustainable at this point, So
Yeah, especially as they get more and more rare, then it's like forget it, right?
Yeah.
exactly. I
But
can do
if-
other
With
things.
age.
Right.
But if you sold that entire collection,
Oh, so
Could you retire?
which I've been debating on actually selling it to get a couple. I've got a couple other arcade machines all along here. I'm starting to fill up the basement, which I've been debating on doing. Because I had dreams when I was younger. I'm like, oh man, I've got 2 young boys, and I'm like, oh, the boys are gonna want to play all these NES games. We play them every once in a while, but that doesn't really happen. So
Yeah.
oh,
Well, I know I want to talk about the Cleveland Gaming Classic and how that came about, but let's start. What were you gonna? Are you looking to see how many total there are in the?
yeah, what's the count? I don't even know. I'd be lying if I said it if I knew offhand.
Were you looking it up, Utah?
And there's different ways to look at it. Like if you're talking about the licensed,
678 in North America.
Yeah, it depends on if you're talking about the licensed and unlicensed, and then there's like the Bible games. There's a whole bunch of.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Championship games, blah blah blah. They're a couple. Yeah.
So I know I'm in the 30s.
That's
a
lot,
though. Yeah, yeah. There's more to see here even too. I mean, and there are no duplicates, and they are all alphabetized. So.
Oh my gosh! And what do you have? Like a list of ones that you're missing?
Yeah, of course. I have a list, and that way, when you're out somewhere or you see a garage sale, what are you going to do? You want to stop and look, right? But yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about tell us your earliest video game memory. Tell us how it all began. I mean, we know we're going to talk about Cleveland Gaming Classic, but where did it begin for you, the love of video games? Obviously, you care a lot about them.
Yeah, I think it's the cliche, my parents didn't let me play video games when I was a kid. I think that's how all this started. No, I mean, we had a Nintendo growing up, and I have an older brother. He's about 5 years older. And so the whole Cleveland Gaming Classic thing started with my brother and I used to play Tecmo Super Bowl back in the day. And my brother used to I remember his one buddy, Matt, he used to bring over, and they would just pound the salt out of me in Tecmo Bowl, right? And it would just take a shellacking every time we'd play Tecmo Bowl. No, but I mean, I grew up playing Tecmo and Contra and Mario and everything else, just a huge fanboy. And then eventually I think everyone started to get to like Sega and Sega CD. I remember having a Sega CD, and it was like the greatest thing, having Lethal Enforcers and Star Wars Rebel Assault. And then eventually it got to like PlayStation and things that I'll say, like my parents were like, man, we don't really need that. We can't afford that. And we're like, okay. So then, it's this coming of age thing where it's like, I want to have all those things I didn't have when I was a kid, So it just became obsessive and more obsessive. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what's your current console? Like, what do you play the most right now?
So it's weird. So I play pretty much, so I've got a Popeye machine here next to me, like a Popeye arcade cab. I play Popeye a lot. I play it actually competitively on, if you guys are familiar with like Twin Galaxies, this is like uber deep. I know you guys are gone geek, but it's this is, if you're not familiar with like Twin Galaxies, and if you ever want to talk to some of those guys, I know all those guys that are on the Twin Galaxies leaderboards and a lot of the history and drama there too, who they are absolutely amazing.
Wow.
But I play Popeye. I think I'm actually number 6 or 7 Utah, you could challenge me again if you want Twin Galaxies website. If you look up like Popeye world record scores, I've been trying to climb that. I haven't posted a score in a couple of years now, but that's what I play a lot of is Popeye.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that game, like in the arcades.
Do you know the history of Popeye?
I don't. No.
Oh my gosh. There are so many amazing documentaries about all this stuff. Popeye is a game. So you asked like, why did I get into gaming? Popeye is a game. When you hear the level music and the sound design for it, to me, it always stuck with me. But the long story short, with Popeye, it was originally, you can go on Google right now and you could look up Popeye Donkey Kong cabinet. Popeye was originally supposed to be Donkey Kong. So just think about it for a second.
That's
Olive oil is Daisy, I think is the princess, right? Then you've got Bluto as Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
And Popeye is Mario. So there's original artwork for the side cabinet that shows it all as Bluto throwing I think it's still a barrel.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was originally skinned, but then King Syndicate Features, who owned the license, who was I don't know if they're the owners of Popeye or whatever at the time, they wouldn't give the license to Nintendo because back then arcades had a very seedy, feel, right? It wasn't a place that you would want your brand.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so they weren't willing to sell that. The stories, they weren't willing to give that to Nintendo. So Nintendo created their whole characters. And eventually Nintendo got taken to court over the whole Donkey Kong thing by Universal Studios. And
oh my gosh, because
of King Kong. Yeah. And so the lawyer, the short version is, I'll stop talking in a second here, I promise. But the lawyer that saved Donkey Kong, his name was Kirby. And then that's where Kirby came from.
What?
Yeah, so they created. So Kirby is an homage to the lawyer that helped Nintendo retain the licensing rights to Donkey Kong. Again, there's fantastic documentaries about all these things.
That's fantastic.
So. Was their lawyer able to inhale people and gain their skills, or was it
objects?
Yeah, no, I don't know about that, but
that's fine.
Right. It wasn't just the name that they based. Yeah.
Right, there's actually a lawyer who can do that. No, you said you will stop talking to him. This is why we have you here, Tom. We want to hear these type of stories. You've got lots of knowledge, and we want you to share it.
Just go deep with the nerd cuts.
No, I love it. No, that's stuff I would have never known if you hadn't just said that. So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So then, I know that the Tecmo Bowl thing kind of then grew into what we now know as the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Tell us how that happened.
Yeah, so we used to get just a bunch of guys. Actually, almost brought over the trophy for this. So we had a group called the Tecmo Super Bros, is what we used to call it. Even before it was something, we had a trophy. It'd be just like six or eight guys like hanging out at my house, and we'd just be like eating cheese puffs and drinking beer and playing Tecmo Bowl. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it turned into Tecmo Cleveland. I remember the first year we had it in my basement. I thought it was so cool. Like I set up like a little mini projector, and I had the brackets displayed, and I probably had like 6 CRT, the old school tubes lining the basement. And then my wife's like, there were like 40, 50 people down there. And my wife's like, so we're like not doing this at our house anymore. So it just really, it just kind of grew into like a annual tradition. I think we were actually doing it semi-annually, but we grew into a big tradition where everyone, hey, we're going to Tecmo at Tom's house. We're going to Tecmo Cleveland. And then we moved it to the VFW hall, and it just kept spiraling. So,
wow, that's what I was going to ask. So the next step was the VFW.
How cool.
How many years were you there?
So we were at that VFW hall for, I think, 2 years. I want to say that was probably 2017 and 18. Sounds right. And I was telling the story to someone, I don't remember what, but I remember like writing the check still in my mind. And I was like, man, I remember the rent at the VFW hall for booking it was like $300. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like spending like $300 to put on a Tecmo Bowl tournament. Like this is just dumb. Like, like I'm making poor life decisions at this point. Like there's gotta be other things I should be doing with my life.
There's a vintage Nintendo cart you could have gotten for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. True. And I remember my wife being pregnant, I think, with our first kid at the time, and yeah, or maybe it was the second. No, it would have been our second. Sorry, because he's turning 5 in November. I should know these things. No, but we did the Tecmo thing there 2 years, and then we added NBA Jam 1 year. We called it Tecmo Jam Cleveland because I was a
Nice.
big NBA Jam fan too. So I still have shirts somewhere that say like Tecmo Jam Cleveland, and you'll see some guys wearing them still, which is really cool. So. And then we moved to Wagner's.
Fun.
We did Wagner's 1 year, and then we had COVID 1 year. We did it all virtually, and then we went back to Wagner's, and then yeah, we were at the IX Center. So it's just wild.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, the IX Center obviously is a big jump from even from Wagner's, and I know that you. So last year was the first time that I actually got to go to this, and it's funny because you and I both work at the same company, and I had no idea. I kept seeing this Cleveland Gaming Classic popping up, on my Facebook and things like that. I think the year before, and ended up not kind of being able to go or whatever. And then the year that last year, you actually contacted our department and asked if we could help
That's right.
video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's this thing I keep seeing on Facebook. I've been wanting to go to that. So it was just kind of kismet there. It was really great. But at Wagner's, it was a huge crowd in a very compact, small space. And
That's a delicate way to say it, by the way. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
and I know that you were I know that you had, I'm assuming that you had like hesitation going to something. I mean, the IX is a big jump from, like, it's not like you went to, something with like an extra 1,000 square foot. Like you went to the IX Center, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You said go big or go home.
That was
right.
it.
Tell me a little bit about that process to decide, to go there.
Well, I mean, like I think you guys in doing this thing, right? I mean, people who are passionate about it, right, are going to make it something. And I remember even when I did Wagner's, right? I mean, God bless Wagner's. Like they've been a staple of Westlake for years. I remember like meeting with their owner and like haggling like the rent fee. So again, remember I said I like had heartburn over $300 from VFW, and then whatever the rent was at Wagner's. I don't remember what the rent was, but doing it there, and they're like, "What's going on?" Because it's like a wedding event center,
Yeah.
Sure.
right? This isn't hey, we're gonna pack in 2,000 nerds to play video games and Warhammer and Magic the Gathering. They're like, what the heck is this stuff, right? So for them, it was a big, but they also wanted it too. The big thing for them was to get a younger crowd.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, when we were at Wagner's, like you said, this past year, the previous year in 2021, I think we had about 2,000 people there, and we're like, this isn't going to work anymore. So I spent probably about a good 4 or 5 months, like literally just touring venues in Cleveland, from other bigger wedding venue centers to making calls to places down in Akron and Canton, looking on the east side of Cleveland, right? And eventually it was, well, let's talk to the IX Center. Let's see if we could actually do this thing. And coming off of the tail end of COVID, I think they also optimistically, I give them a huge amount of credit in taking on, I think, also a chance on us, right? In something they didn't know. What is this? What are we doing? It's one day, what's going on here? So, yeah, it was a big risk. But I think we just decided that we're either going to kind of put up or shut up and do this thing right, so it was fun.
And
Well, I know from a attendee and booth perspective, I mean, it seemed like it was just a grand success. So from your perspective, did you feel like did it exceed your expectations? Did it meet how was it for you on your end?
It was amazing. I'd be lying so I remember when we had the show at Wagner's in 21, I remember I drove home that night and I was just crying the entire way home. I think it was either like midnight or whatever it was. I was in my car just crying like happy tears.
Aww.
I remember just like being in the steering wheel, like driving home, like, oh my God, we just did this thing. And it was even, I get goosebumps like talking about it, but it's like, I remember driving to Wagner's and driving to the IX Center the morning of the show. And one of my buddies texted me, Chris Hatala. He does the Games Done Legit stuff. He texted me. He goes, look at the sky right now,
Oh yeah.
and it was like this purple retro synthwave sky, and I was like, oh my god, like this is really cool. And that whole like ride to the IX Center, I'm like, this is literally going to happen. You know, like we're about to have however many thousand people show up, and it was the same on the way home. I remember, I think I got home that night like 2:30 in the morning, the night of the show, and I wanted to talk to my wife till like 3 in the morning, and she's like, "Just go to bed already." But, no, but it was awesome. It was really cool. It was humbling, to see everyone just have fun, and even people all day. The security officers that we had hired were saying, "Oh my gosh, the crowd today, they are just so nice, and everybody's helping each other out." I remember at one point, again, like I think a woman fell up the escalator, and like everybody like swarmed around her. I was right there, and everybody swarmed around her and like helped pick her up. But it's like that's like the vibe that I've always gone for with our show. It's not like I'm not knocking like bigger shows or whatever. I'm just saying like this is done by like people that care and want to do this thing right and want to do it for super fans and want to put on a good show. So for me, like that gives me a good feeling. And I honestly do. I build a lot of the programming specifically like for kids too. Like I've got 2 young boys, and we've always said when we build this thing, like we want it to be family friendly, right? I don't want it to be one of those shows where it's like I take my kids and then it's $10 to do this and $20 to do. I want people to go in and be like, go to town, have fun, go do whatever. So it was really fun. Is a long way to answer your question.
Yeah.
No.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, Aaliyah, this was your first experience with a gaming convention. What were your thoughts when you saw all the stuff that was going on there?
Well, this year was honestly just a lot of firsts for me in terms of like my first Comic-Con and then first gaming con, and it just was like each convention that I've been to, it's such a heartwarming experience, but this one was like it feels like home in I guess a little sappy way to
It's
say
like a
it,
community.
but it
Yeah,
is
it
a
is.
community.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like I was telling Jeff, while I was there, it's like all of these people, right? We come from so many different backgrounds, so many, nobody's sitting here questioning, you know, gender, height, skin color. Like nobody is talking about any of that stuff. They just look at you and like, yeah, man, you're my fellow nerd. Like
That's
we're
right.
here showing out together. And it's just this sense of camaraderie, this sense of like, we are all one big world gone geek. And it just is like, yeah, that is what I thought. It was just such an amazing experience. So
And I think an event like this, like if you're an avid gamer, especially an online gamer, you have run into a lot of people that are not that, right? Like, I mean, one of the reasons that I don't get into a lot of multiplayer games is because of some of the people. Like, I'd rather play co-op with Utah and Matt and like friends that I know and that aren't gonna, well, they might give me a hard time, but it's because we're friends and they're fun. You know what I mean? But just some of the people that you play with are just absolute jerks. They're some of the worst people. Some of those, basically the dredge the bottom of Twitter and give them controllers. That's basically what it feels like sometimes. And so I was kind of like, you're going to get a bunch of gamers in one place. What is that going to be? Is it going to be like that? But one, there may have been some of those people there. I have no idea, but they're not behind headsets. They're not, you know what I mean? They're their real authentic selves, and we can all get along and have fun.
Yeah.
People just get an attitude sometimes when they, when they're anonymous and have the headset. But games can be heated too, right? Like if you're very competitive, and you've got tournaments and stuff going on there, and obviously they're very competitive. I watched the Tecmo Bowl finale there, and it was intense. Like it was tense. But those two guys were super gracious, and it was just like it was really cool. It was just good sportsmanship. It was just, to me, that was the kind of the takeaway was just like, wow, I am so used to this online experience that can sometimes be super negative that when we all get together in person, like this was fun. Everybody just having a good time. It was much better than what you might expect based on I guess the reputation that gamers can sometimes
Hey,
get.
I've spent years working at GameStop, and I'm glad that
Oh,
none of the GameStop customers showed up at CGC because
I'm sure they.
there are some nasty gamers that shop at GameStop, and having to deal with them. Oh,
Not all. He's not saying all GameStop because we
I'm not
want
saying
them to
all,
sponsor us someday.
but
Yeah,
I'm
right.
kidding. But no,
they may
yeah,
not be
you're right.
around much longer.
No, right. You're right though. Some of the, I mean, but that might just be a retail thing too, because people
very
can be just
possible.
nasty to retail people.
It's very possible,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that they're. And a lot of times we're seeing people at their worst, parents and grandparents stressed and pressured to get gifts for birthdays coming up or the holidays and not knowing what the heck, which Xbox X Series XS One
Yeah.
X they want, or, so.
I need to pick
Yeah.
up Grand Theft Auto 5 for my 7-year-old for Christmas.
It's true.
Do you guys have that? I don't know.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, did your
That's what he
7-year-old
wants. I don't know
specifically
what
ask
this is. That's
for
what
it?
he's asking for.
Well, my
Yeah.
favorite, we always had that. I'm looking for a GTA V.
Yeah. Gatav? You have Gatav?
Do you have guitar?
Okay, so my question, and you probably said this earlier, I just did not catch it. But if you did, can you just repeat or reiterate yourself one more time for the people in the back? Why?
I'll go back there. I'll be right back.
Yeah, thank you. Why did you? What was the inspiration behind this again? Like just starting,
Uh,
just from the very beginning. Yeah.
I
Again,
like
well,
I like misery and pain. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I
He
guess
he
I
lost the
guess that's
bet.
it.
I like anxiety a lot. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
like the sleep. I mean, what
Yeah,
do you
all
say?
of
I
the
mean, there's a lot of
above.
that. No, I mean, I you know, I think it's cool to see something built, and I've always kind of
Mhm.
wanted to have something that, I think like again, like you guys are doing here with World of Gone Geek. It's like you're passionate about it. You want to see something. You have a vision of it, and I think one of the things very specifically for me, like Jeff, you're just talking about with gaming, right? I've gone to a lot of these shows in the past. I've gone to them for, I don't know, 15 to 20 years, probably, right? And I think a lot of the challenge I saw with a lot of these shows is you go, you buy things,
Mm.
and then you come home.
Mm.
And, you see your buddies for 20 minutes, you hang out, maybe go out afterwards. But there is a huge missed opportunity for me to answer your question specifically, like to engage, to do things, to play
Mm.
games. And I know, like, I was going to a lot of these shows, and I think a lot of shows are doing this now. It's not something unique, just that we're doing very transparently. But I also wanted to give people something to do, something like when you go to a show, besides buying things, like you have a genuine experience and you can play GoldenEye and you can play Mario Kart, and you can play Halo
Mhm.
2 and teabag each other for 5 minutes, right? I mean, like, it's all those things, right, that you laugh about, but it's like those are the memories
Yeah.
that's in this stuff. The stuff
Mhm.
Yeah.
doesn't matter, right? Like I was talking
Yep.
about with my kids, like I want my kids to pick this up because I want to see them hold the NES Zapper to blast a duck out of the sky, right? It's not to hold the game, right? But you want to see that experience. So it's like, honestly, like when I'm setting up the consoles at the show, I'm like, okay, like, 'cause I've got like boxes and boxes and boxes of systems and games. And I'm like, okay, so I need a tube and I got to have a Zapper and I need GoldenEye and I need a Famicom and I need a Super Famicom. Cause I'm like, those are the people that will
Mm.
appreciate those things and those memories. So to me, it was, it's obviously creating a great experience. And I honestly wanted to create something that, I own and build and have this vision for how I want this thing to do with a lot of very talented people that help around me, right?
Mm.
That are passionate about it too. Like, I mean, Jeff, there's probably 30 people that volunteer every year. And I'm having all these people over to my house. I invited everyone over, Jeff's included. Um, but everyone that helps and volunteers for the show, like, because they want to be part of it, right? It's a community. It's people that care. It's people that then they're at the show and they're like, oh my gosh, like my cousin came and my niece and nephew came and all they had the greatest time and they dressed up as so and so and they cosplayed. Like that is cool, And like that gets me excited. Not like this stuff's cool, like buying stuff and having a Star Wars pin says the guy behind me with all this crap around me. But it's really cool because you like want when people come over, like you want to play the pinball and you want to play the cocktail table and you want my literally my in-laws are upstairs right now. We just had a bunch of birthday parties today. And about 15 minutes before I was on here, my wife and my father-in-law are sitting back here playing Frogger. And
I love Frogger.
That's the best.
So they were playing Frogger, both of them sitting at each side here. And
Cute.
I was like, you got to get going. Like, I got to get this thing ready. I'm trying to get this stuff set up. And they're like, well, just like one more game. And I'm in my mind, like part of me's like, get out of here. And then part of me's like, this is cool. Like my father-in-law's having a good time playing Frogger. Right. I mean, like, so that to me is
how far did they get?
That's not very far. They can't even beat the first level. They're terrible.
What?
And it takes every ounce
beat the
of me.
first level.
I always used to die once I got to the ice cave, like with the bats and stuff. That one was just.
Wait, what are you talking about? Which Frogger are you talking about? I need to know.
Are we talking about the same Frogger?
Yeah, remember like the purple back, like the.
It might have been. It might have been one of the
newer
newer ones.
Frogger. Come on, we're talking like old school.
We're talking
Frogger.
OG Frogger.
I'm talking about PlayStation 1 Frogger. What do you?
Yeah.
No.
No.
This is wow. Okay, so this is what way before my time. So probably my parents.
Yeah. No, this is
arcade version.
Just watch the Seinfeld Frogger episode. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh gosh, that's the best Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. But I mean, just that experience is what it's all about. And they're sitting there like playing them, and I just want to like, no, don't jump yet. No, don't jump. But it's just that's what matters. That's fun. People just playing games.
Yeah. And I know that one of the other things that is great about this this show.
I know nothing.
Sorry, I'm like, as Jeff was like, it's not a toxic crowd at all. I'm like, no, PlayStation 2 Frogger.
We're all talking about everybody was friendly and welcoming and it was a great crowd.
Like,
that's not the Frogger.
You're like the Frogger with the ice level. I'm like, do I let this go or not? I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go.
Well, the later Froggers, even the later Pac-Man, like have all these crazy levels and different.
Yeah,
things.
we're not talking like Frogger 2000. No. We're talking.
Like
we played the very, very simple version, Leo. That I'll send you a link so you can play it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the newer ones were inspired by that. But one of the reasons that I want to make sure that we focus on about your show is that it's all about games. We have a lot of fun. It's all about families. But it's also for charity as well, or it has been for several years. Tell us about like kind of how that got started and what that is and what that means to you.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up. I think it's great. So I got involved with United Cerebral Palsy of Greater Cleveland. So I've been on the board of directors there, I think for 6 years. It'll be this December. So I sit on the board there, been very active. I actually again, long story short, I got involved with the board because we went through something with my firstborn son who I'll say fortunately we pulled out of it. But at that point, we kind of said that, given this experience and recognizing how challenging that experience could be as a father and or mother of a child with a severe life-altering disability or life-changing event, how quickly things change. It was a really humbling experience. And I remember we were like driving home from university hospitals and everything's worked out fine. And I remember I said to my wife, like, we're doing something. Like we're finding some way to get involved. So I got paired up with United Cerebral Palsy of Greater Cleveland. I've been on the board of directors there ever since. And then so we've selected that with the Cleveland Gaming Classic to be the charity that we give back to every year. And one of the girls that came this year, I actually didn't even have a chance to like go up to her because I was so busy. I have to create a video for her. But Rena was there, and she is the like beacon of light and joy of UCP, and she is so sweet. And she loves Katy Perry. And it's like a side mission of mine. I tell UCP that if I can grow this thing big enough, I am going to make it so Katy Perry is at Cleveland Gaming Classic one year. And I literally think, I'm like, I really honestly say that half jokingly, but half serious too, because I'm like, how cool would that be? Like to create that mission and that moment with a client of UCP. And she is literally the most genuine, nicest, sweetest woman you will ever meet. And so just grateful of everything and all these cool things. But so, yeah, we give back to UCP of Greater Cleveland every year. So
that's awesome.
Wow.
That's one of the things that I love about it. I mean, here at World Gone Geek is it's very important to us. We do Extra Life. I shave my head every year. Like finding ways to give back. We call it geek out and give back, right? So we geek out about stuff and then we give back. And I think about these conventions, like even like Fan Expo and Neo Comic Con, any of these that we kind of go to and spend time at, and I'm like, look at all of the disposable cash we have as geeks. I mean, we're buying $400 Nintendo carts, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we can afford that, we can throw $25 towards UCP or towards Extra Life or towards this or towards that. And I'm like, what if we were, I guess, motivated and pushed, you know what I mean, that community to just, take those passions and use them to give back. I feel like, and I'm not the first one, obviously, to think of this.
No,
Extra
yeah.
Life's been around for a while, and look at how much. I mean, they've raised millions and millions of dollars over the many years that they've been doing this, and that just from people who love to play video games.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so finding ways to give back. So I love that about your show. I mean, when we first met and talked about this, I even said, like, that's been one of my dreams for a while, is to maybe throw some sort of con or some sort of comic, convention or event or something, right? That ultimately that was the purpose of it, right? Is the charity. Like, it's a charity, but this is the event is literally to raise money for the charity, and that's it. Like, it's a nonprofit, and we just people come and spend all their money on geeky things, but portions of that are going towards, helping kids or helping adults or whatever the charity may be. I don't know. I mean, it could be anything, but so that's awesome that you guys, that's one of the reasons that I was so excited to jump in and help as much as I could. And we appreciate you having us there. That was a lot of fun. That was our first, well, no, I guess at Odd Mall we had a booth, but that was the second time we had like a booth, like an actual booth space. And could meet people who are actually, and the weirdest thing, Utah, you missed out. Like, the weirdest thing, Leah, you can back me up. Several times people came up and knew who we were.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? Like, they'd heard of us. Like, one woman said to her husband, she's like, this is that one I was telling you about, like, that you would, and I'm like, what? How
What?
people are listening to us?
Yeah.
Did they come from India?
I thought this was just an opportunity for for three of us to get together and talk to people that we like to talk about.
No, but there's a lot of people that knew already.
It was
knew
kind of
who we were.
crazy. I was really,
That's very cool.
yeah.
So,
So that was
yeah.
neat. I mean, we're not talking like thousands of screaming fans, but like,
Yes, we are.
That's what I saw.
If a half dozen,
You
a
to
half
back you
dozen
up.
people come up and say, hey, oh no, I've seen this, or I've heard, even if they just have heard it or seen our logo around, then that's cool. Like, that's maybe people are starting to notice, and that obviously feels good. But
Did you guys
yeah,
get
it was
to
a good
talk
time.
to? Did you guys get to talk to any the Mortal Kombat guys, the Cubert
So-
guy? Did anyone say
Yes.
hi? Oh,
I saw the
nice.
pictures.
Yes.
I saw the pictures. That was cool.
Oh my gosh, he let me wear the hat. Although I
Oh,
don't
you got
know
to
if
wear
I was-
Liu Kang's hat?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Kung
if I
Lao.
was actually
Kung Lao.
Yeah,
Kung
Oh,
Lao.
sorry.
Blah.
Sorry.
But I wasn't
So-
sure if I was actually supposed to wear the hat. Like,
Yeah,
I think
whatever.
he was just reaching it, just putting it out. Like,
Oh,
and
No,
then I
think he
just
was
grabbed
offering
it.
to you to wear. No, I think
Oh,
he was
you
letting
think
wear
so?
it. Oh, I think
Okay.
so. Yeah. So-
because afterwards I just saw him like put it on a fist, like that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Well, we
And-
saw both of those guys were super nice and very accommodating, and said they would love to be on the show. So I'm working on
Cool.
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let me know how I can help you. I can help.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I already I sent, they gave me information on how to contact them, and I've sent stuff, and we'll wait and see what happens from there.
The
But
coolest thing that ever happens out of all these shows that I like totally geek out about is that, like, literally Tim Kitzrow, who's the voice of NBA Jam guy, and
Yeah.
he is legit like the nicest guy in the world.
I think
Like, the nicest guy. And so he was at our show in like 2019 when we were at Wagner's, and there may have been like 600 people there. Right. So we paid for him to come out and the appearance and everything. And we had a big NBA Jam tournament. And he's probably like, wow, what's going on here, guys? I'm like, it was a small show, right? We had a smaller show back then. But I remember, like, he met my boys and he autographed a bunch of stuff I have up here. And so I was like, hey, Tim, like, you got to come back for the show. Like, you're not going to believe, like, basically, what the heck is going on? So he comes and he's he like texts me, which I think is like super cool. I'm like, the guy, NBA Jam guys like legit
He
like
texted.
texting. Like he's like texting me, and he's like, dude, I'm here. Like, what is happening? Like, what? Where is your show? Like, this is your show? Like, there's thousands of people here. I'm like, yeah, dude, welcome to Cleveland. He's like, what just happened? But that night even, like, he was back in his hotel room. He's like, oh my God, I can't tell you enough. Like, thanks so much. It was like 2 days later, and he's still texting me. And so I just kind of like geek out over him. Like, yeah, like, I'm pretty cool. I'm texting the guy who's the NBA Jam guy. Like, that's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah.
Like, y'all are best friends now.
Yeah, and he's like legit like the coolest guy. Like, he's so nice, so nice.
Did you have him say Tomahawk Jam?
I don't know what I have him say.
We tried to take out. We were hoping to interview some people there. We actually, but we were having all. So it's a normal thing for us to have technical difficulties. It's just part of the show.
World Gone Geek podcast.
That's right. And so we had a really, really fun conversation with, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Is it Kevin Cavallero? Cavarello?
Oh, Cabarello. Kevin K-Cab. Yeah.
Kevin, yeah.
K-Cab.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
Nicknames.
he came and sat down with us. This is a guy, for those of you listening, who can play and defeat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out blindfolded. Like, just based on the sounds and the timing and everything. And we watched him do it. It was awesome. Like, the crowd went wild is not even an accurate description.
Yeah.
Like, when he finally completed it, that place erupted. Like, all the other booths got quiet, and they're trying to figure out what's going on because everybody's screaming over here. And then, because he's getting closer and closer every time Tyson goes down, they're like cheering again. And then when he wins, like, you'd think this guy had just won the Super Bowl, but he was so, you could tell, like, he was just like this feeling. And we had a great conversation with him, and his side of the audio is completely gone. Can't hear any of it. Yeah.
Oh no.
And,
I thought he was blindfolded, but he had earmuffs on?
Right. No, apparently we did. No, it was it was crazy audio issues the whole day that we were dealing with.
Yeah.
So I was tonight, when I was getting a chance to talk to you, Tom, I want you to help me get in touch with him, because
I've got his cell, and I text him all the time. So so for next year, preview maybe of next year, what we've been trying to have him do, and I don't think he's done it yet, but he's trying to beat Super Mario.
Yeah,
Brothers
that's what we talked about.
I'm telling you, the first one blindfolded. Yeah, so
wow,
he can get.
He could do a couple of them already.
Yeah, if you can watch his Twitch streams, it's pretty legit. I mean, and that's
crazy.
Just wild. Yeah, I mean, that's insane.
Blindfolded though, and he was like talking about like the different cues and stuff, which
listening for sound cues, everything.
Phenomenal.
So we want to get in touch with him. We want him to come. We'll just have him on the show. I figure, you know what I mean. My plan was to play that interview tonight while you were here, and we just kind of talk about it, because it was only like, we talked to him for about 10, 12 minutes, I think. But yeah, we'd love. So I am going to try to get him to actually come on. Maybe we'll show some clips of his Twitch, and I think I'm still going through video footage, but I think we got some footage of when that happened. I'm hoping that that's when they were down there, because we were at the booth right next to it, and it was just like, it was electric. It was just a really cool thing.
It was wild. I remember when that moment happened, I was at Tim Kitzero's booth, like just behind you guys.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, just like, I don't even know about what. And all of a sudden it was just, a roar. Kitzero's like, what the heck just happened? I go, I think he just beat Tyson. Like, he had to just beat Tyson.
So
fantastic.
Great. Yeah, so that's the other thing for those of you who haven't been and were considering going. So that's not just, obviously there's vendors. You've got indie game developers who are testing out new games there. You've got vendors who are selling cool stuff, crafts, whatever related to video games, all kinds of fun stuff like that. But then you have, throughout the day, there's different like entertainment. Last year you had Rob, 88-bit Kovacs. We had him on our show last season.
He's great.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
We will probably be at our show next year. We're working on some.
Oh, sweet.
We're working on doing like a VGM lineup. I'm
Nice.
kind of like, this is what they call the tease. Like, I'm teasing some bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody can get excited.
Yeah. But then obviously he beats Tyson on stage. We can watch. There was you guys played what was it, Exploding Kittens with Night Mage
Night
and a couple of
Mage.
cosplayer, and you were up there. I think who else? There was one of the was
Kitzrow
it
and Natalie
it was
Vaya. I'm
Kitzrow. Okay.
terrible. I'm terrible with
I
her name.
couldn't. I knew it
Sorry.
was one of the guests that was there. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
gosh,
yeah. So there's like entertainment on stage, things like that. There's lots of stuff going on. So it's really like to me. I mean, it's like it's an all day event. Like you don't just come and I'm gonna look at the vendors and go home. Like sometimes I feel that way at some of these other places I go. But no, there's stuff to do all day. There's things going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of fantastic. The that was going to be my question then is so do you have any other teasers for like what are you
Got a
thinking
lot.
about
Got a
for
lot.
next year?
Is it going to be at the IX Center again?
Yeah. And then second question, so on the same
That was
in
a
the same
yes.
vein,
Nonverbal
Yeah.
yes.
yes, he said yes. And then by the same token, a lot of people said to us when we were talking at our table, we asked them if they were having a fun and they were having a good time, and a couple of people said to us, "Why is this one day?
Yeah.
Like this should
that
be
was
a
my
2 day,
question.
at least 2 days." And I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. Like this could be 2 days. And
Could
I
it,
don't think
though?
it would be a matter of splitting the people who came that day over 2 days. I think you'd have a large crowd both days. Is that something that you're thinking about? I guess is what I'm.
Yeah. So I heard a lot of that feedback. The biggest feedback we heard was it was too crowded. Why is it one day? And the ATM
Too crowded?
Yeah.
Yeah. The ATM thing I didn't expect because I'm like, who's using an ATM? But the ATM kind of spiraled out of the whole self service stunk, Wi-Fi stunk, so people needed cash at ATM. But anyways, that's a whole other
Oh
topic.
yeah, because
But
the
yeah,
yeah.
whatever. Well, problems we'll fix for next year. It was learning things. But
Sure.
yeah, so number one, we are definitely planning on being back at the IX Center. Number
Nice.
two, we are going to do a multi-day format. So
Yay.
we're calling it like a 2 and a third day, maybe is what we're planning on. So like a Friday night preview,
Mm-hmm.
which would just be like,
Nice.
if you remember when you came in the east entrance, there's this massive ballroom which we didn't use.
Mhm.
I don't know the exact square footage, but we can easily get like 100 arcade machines and pinball machines in there. So Friday you'd come in, it'd pretty much just be like arcade and pinball and just music night only, right? So grab some drinks, bring your buddies, come to the IX Center, play video games for free all night. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just a preview. So you can like check out the space and maybe we'll have some guests and little VIP type stuff going on. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll have the same type of show format. But what I want to do is like tighten up the hours, right? The hardest thing for me in doing, a 1 day show is, okay, if you do a 1 day show, you got to have really long hours,
Yeah.
and if you have really long hours, you get people burned out from working and volunteering and vendors and everybody just being there for 12 to 13 hours. It's a long day. So
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about for next year is like doing a Friday preview and then Saturday, maybe do like a 10 to 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe with 5 to 7 being like a after party where it's like VGM music, video game music lineup. So we could have like Rob Kovacs and a couple other video game artists lined up where it's like at 5 o'clock, we shut the venue down. Vendor Expo closes, everything closes, but there's 3 bands that play from like 5 to 7, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Sunday would be more of like, again, this is all tentative, but this is what we're just brainstorming. But Sunday we're planning on, again, maybe we focus more on like kid family programming for that day. Still have the Vendor Expo, but we do, again, tighter hours, maybe like 11 to 4 on Sunday. And we do more like kid programming on the main stage. I don't know. So just things we're thinking about, but definitely multi-day. It's a lot of work just to do 1 day, right?
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's
excellent.
exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting just to hear how it's grown. Like, especially like, I mean, people go to these conventions and you don't think about like, that some of these things were, started in someone's basement like yours, or, you know what I mean? Just started with a few friends who were like, we should get together and do this. And so, I mean, there's several local cons here in Cleveland. I'd love to get some of the folks who started those to come in and tell us how theirs originated. Cause I think those stories are interesting. You know what I mean? Like it all starts from a place and a passion that we all share. You know what I mean? But
We can all commiserate, but share stories.
yeah, they went
Yeah.
they went there though, right? Like they did it. Like you did it. Like we've all thought, oh, wow, it would be really cool to do something like that. And Tom's like, well, I'm just gonna do it. And and here we are now, and it's huge, it's gigantic. And yeah, I was so happy for you. At the end of that day, I'm like, again, I was like, I don't know if it was if this was
Worth it?
again, no, I'm saying I don't know if this was the expectation, like, you know what I mean, if it exceeded your expectations or not. But I was sitting there thinking, I hope this was great. Like, I think that this was a huge success, and I was really happy for you. So
Yeah, no, it definitely exceeded my expectations. It was great. I just seeing people like with that big banner we had with the Cleveland skyline and all these, and again, like this is like you're just talking about, like this is still like put on. I mean, so by me, and then it's actually my wife's cousin. She's involved. She works for a company called Party 411. So the whole story with getting this company Party 411 involved, and I tell you, I'm honestly not plugging them. It's just an interesting story of how they got involved. So
plug them, I don't care.
No, but her name's Kathleen, and so it's my wife's like second cousin, right? So I remember like I'm working on the show, right? And there comes a point where it's like I can't do it all. I'm like doing the website, I'm doing social, I'm doing t-shirt design, I'm doing programming, I'm hiring guests and booking travel, and I'm just like, you just can't. I mean, it's just like you can't. Like the other day, even, I mean, as an example, right now, like I'm the guy like mailing out the t-shirts. Like so people they're like, oh, I got the wrong shirt size on me. I'm like, sorry, like I'm not like a t-shirt guy, but I'm trying my best here. But eventually, like I remember I was talking to my wife one night. I'm like, I can't like do this show myself anymore. Like there were 2,000 people at Wagner's. Like, I'm like, we're renting iPads. I'm getting volunteers from God knows where to help us out, right? And she's like, you need to talk to like Kathleen because she does this for a living. And thank God I talked to her because you can't. There becomes a point where you need people that genuinely like want to see it, and she is so passionate about it too. And Jeff, just like like you and your family are passionate, and other people that I know through whether it's work or otherwise, like I was saying earlier, they see it and they get it and they're motivated. And it's funny because like Kathleen will like text me memes because I'll be like losing sleep. I'm like, I'm so worried. We've only sold like 1,000 tickets. No one's going to be there. And she's like, you're going to be fine. Relax. It's a thing, And so, but then they can help you do things and build things, and just seeing it all to come together. And I remember like when I saw that big Cleveland banner with all the little iconic things on it, like we were working on that together, and she's like, oh, like that's the guy from this and this is the guy from that. I'm like, yeah, we got to put the Mortal Kombat 2 guy in the corner. She's like, it's just cool because like we're still doing this. It's not like some corporate whatever somewhere. It's a bunch of people sitting behind a whatever computer, just like looking at images from the internet and cleaning them up and dumping them on an image, right? But it works. I don't know, it's still working. So
that's fun. Yeah. And you mentioned the t-shirt I'm going to show because I've got I actually have one right here. GV Art and Design designed
check that out.
And
solid.
It is
really
really
that's
cool.
fantastic.
Wow.
I love
Amazing.
But so that shirt as an example, this shirt, if you guys knew how many revisions those poor guys at GVR. So like I was so nitpicky, like I was like, oh, can we move like the Mike Tyson thing down so it looks like he's on like the Cleveland waterfront, and can we make a bridge out of the Donkey Kong girders, like to match,
girder,
like and they're like, oh yeah, and then we can do the buildings, but it's like they get the Cleveland piece, we get the video game piece, and you get us all together, and it worked. It just worked,
Yeah,
so,
that design looks great.
Yeah,
amazing.
And their shirts are, just as a plug for GV Art and Design. Their shirts are such good quality. Yeah, I mean, a lot of merch shirts. It's not, you know what I mean. It's kind of generic. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm trying to see if their website is on here, and I'm gonna put it I'll put it in the show notes that you can buy. I mean, it's all their designs are Cleveland based. So if you're not from Cleveland, you may not care. But if you're from Cleveland, I guarantee you're gonna find some shirts that you like. Because their designs are just phenomenal. They're so fun.
It was a great shirt. I mean, when we first ordered the shirts, again, like Kathleen she's like, "You're an idiot, Tom. Like, you're an idiot." I remember like I think I ordered, I want to say like 800 shirts. She's
That's
like
it?
she's like, there are gonna be like at least 5,000 people. I'm like, I know, but like who's gonna buy this shirt? Like, no one's buying these shirts because I remember Tom of running Tecmo Cleveland, and I still probably have like 5 or 10 shirts. I remember placing an order for like 30 shirts and be like, oh my God, I'm ordering like 30 t-shirts. These shirts are never going to sell. But we ordered 800 and they were like gone in like 2 weeks. Then I'm like, okay, we ended up ordering, I think like a total of another 2,300 or something shirts because
Wow.
they're the artwork's just awesome. But again, I'm just she's constantly reminding me like, this is like a thing now. This isn't just like you and your buddies like hanging out and you're only going to sell like 10 t-shirts. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I just have to keep reminding you that you're successful. Like, this is successful.
well, that it's a show, and that's the meme
Yeah.
she always sends me. She sends me memes all the time, like relax, you're gonna be fine, go to sleep, take some melatonin, you'll be all right.
That's awesome. Well, Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that you were able to get with us tonight. It was especially since I knew going in that it was probably going to be impossible to try to pin you down at the event. There's just so much going on, and
Sorry about that, by the way.
No,
Sorry.
see, you
I
just
felt
said sorry.
terrible.
No, not at all.
No,
You
no.
should not
It's
apologize
fine.
for that.
You'll be okay.
I totally expected it. We did the same thing at Oddmall with our friend Andy Hop runs that.
Andy.
And
Oh, okay, I know that.
you can't pin him down either because he's everywhere. He's doing so much. And then like when we finally did, it was like we were right at the end, like everything was done and we're pretty much ready to pack up.
Yeah.
But it's you guys are super busy. I mean, I fully expected that we would not get a chance to talk to you, which is why I'm grateful that you were willing to come back because I still wanted to have this conversation. And I just it's a great show for those of you who are anywhere in the vicinity where you can get to Cleveland in a whatever you consider a reasonable amount of time. You should absolutely go to this show because it's worth it. And now it's going to be 2 days, so
Right, yeah.
most likely.
So
Come and hang out
and the
for the
third.
weekend.
Yeah, get yourself a hotel room and come and stay in Cleveland and enjoy Cleveland for a few days. Anyway, but thank you so much for being here. It was awesome to have you. Great to tell everybody how they can find you, your socials, your website, all that kind of stuff.
Just call Jeff. Just call you. You figure it out, right? I don't want any more phone calls. I had someone actually call me like the day after the show. God, but I will tell you, I had someone call me the day after the show, like we lost like a Nintendo DS and we were at the show. I'm like, what? Like, how'd you get my number? First of all, let's start talking about like this is still like this round, really grassroots thing. Like someone's calling me looking for a lost DS. We never found it, by the way. Sorry. So we owe somebody.
Well, it's not like there weren't any other DSs there.
Right, exactly. No, but don't call me. But you can. The website is gamecleveland.com. So it's gamecleveland.com. And then it's the Cleveland Gaming Classic. And so the tentative dates too for next year. We haven't gone to contract yet, but the ones that we have going to contract to hopefully get signed are September 22nd through the 24th. So it'll be September 22nd through the 24th. It'll be at the IX Center. We're trying to stick with some of the same format, but just keep growing this thing and making it more fun and bringing more games. But again, everything's on our Facebook page, Twitter, Insta, whatever, and gamecleveland.com.
Yeah. And your Twitter is Game Cleveland?
Sure.
Right?
I don't know.
I think that's what it was. I can't remember.
I'm terrible about this stuff.
Yeah, that's all good. I'll put it all in the show notes so anybody who's listening.
It's too much. I'm just like,
check.
Sure. I feel like posting a picture today. It's a good day.
That's awesome.
We'll get better.
Yeah. Well, thanks to everybody who watched. We had a few viewers pop in and out throughout the show. We appreciate you guys. And those of you listening on the podcast, as always, we love and appreciate you guys for always being there and downloading and giving us a listen. Thanks to anybody who is our new listeners. Please follow us on Twitter, all the socials. We're at World Gun Geek pretty much everywhere. So if there's a social that we could have gotten, we tried to be there.
MySpace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We are not there.
No, that's funny though. We're trying to think who my top 8 spaces would be now. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute.
Do you remember that?
Wasn't like the top friend Tom on MySpace?
Yeah.
Well, he was your first friend. He was like
you
the
might
first
know,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Everyone
so
was friends with Tom.
everyone was friends with Tom because he's the first. As soon as you sign in, you're his friend immediately. I think it was.
And he just wanted everyone to not feel lonely. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
but he
know.
ghosted. I remember he ghosted. Like I would try and like message him and nothing.
I invited him to my wedding. He didn't show. I don't know
know.
what his deal is. But yeah, check us out on all the socials. If you're watching us now, you already know we're on Twitch. If you're listening, follow us on Twitch. That's where we're live every Sunday at 7:00. Utah, Aaliyah, thank you so much for being here. Tom, again, thank you. And we'll see everybody next week. We have we're going to have another wrestler, actually someone that I met at the Cleveland Gaming Classic, or didn't actually get to meet, but we met on Twitter while at the Classic from somewhere in the room. And yeah, I'll tell the story next
Wait,
week.
what?
No. We're going to tell that story next week.
Seems like
Exactly,
an interesting. Like never mind.
We were in the
I
same
think it is.
room.
He's awesome. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, we were in the same room and
This is serendipitous.
did not actually physically see each other at all that day, but met through Twitter and are now here. He's going to be on next week. So
Yes.
There was someone.
Or he's going to be
that was
tweeting
there
us next week.
And there was someone was there from like Married at First Sight too. Someone was telling me. I'm like, what? They're like,
What?
yeah,
Really?
like, is that the one where they get
Wow.
married blind or something? Like they never see each other.
Yeah.
Someone
yeah,
was
they
like,
don't know each other. They show up at the altar and they have to
And-
marry him. Yeah.
And so I didn't know. The guy came up to me and like started talking to me, and I'm like, then they're like, do you know who that was? I'm like, no, I don't watch TV. I watch Seinfeld still. It's all I watch. And I watch Seinfeld and Stranger Things. Like, that's it. And they're like, that's so-and-so from Married at First Sight. I'm like, all right, sweet. I don't know.
That's funny.
Well, that's great. You didn't know him either. Neither did his wife.
Exactly. Good point. I don't feel so bad.
He's used to that.
Right? It's a great point. That's what I should have said.
Now I want to get that guy on the show. All right, we'll have to talk.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you guys next time, 7 p.m. Bye.
Bye. I am